Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. That song? Yeah. Yeah, that girl's fucking, she gives me some evil vibes. All right, so next question.
I said, what goes through your head in a social interaction, social situation?
That's actually a really interesting question because when you read a lot of pickup and a lot of advice, what can happen is you start to think in the interaction, you should be going over all these techniques. You're analyzing, like, is my eye contact good enough? How is my voice? And I'm not saying I never do that. I do that a little bit. But when you're in a really good state, when you're at your best, the part of your brain that would do all of those things, that criticizes yourself and that thinks like, how do I, thinks of it like a chess game, and they're trying to think of what pieces should I be moving, how should I be convincing her to like me or whatever. That part of your brain shuts off, and that's been scientifically shown. There's been studies that show when someone enters a flow state, the self-conscious part of their brain, the inner Woody Allen, it's sometimes referred to, the part that's criticizing yourself, it goes down in activity and is not actually doing anything, whereas the part of your brain that's in the moment becomes hyperactive. So your conscious mind becomes less active, your unconscious becomes more active, and that is when you're at your best. That's when you're at your most charismatic, because the conscious mind is very slow. It's actually stupid in comparison to your unconscious mind. So if you rely on your conscious mind to come up with these techniques to tell girls, to come up with, like you're thinking of all the material you've read while you're in an interaction, that part of your brain is not nearly as sharp, not nearly as impactful as the unconscious part of your brain. And if you're in touch with that part of your brain, you're far more intelligent, far more clever. And those techniques that you read before, those ideas, they come up. It's just like humor. Humor, if I tell you, make me laugh. Try it, make me laugh.
Purple dinosaur.
I mean, okay, it's tough. When you're put on the spot and you have to force it with a technique, it's hard to make someone laugh. Humor, it comes up unconsciously. It just comes out. So anything that is charming or charismatic is the same way. It just comes out when you're in the right state, when you're not in your own way and you're just free flowing. So I do not make a point to think about techniques or what I'm doing while I'm interacting with women. While I'm interacting with women, if anything, I'm just focused on the moment. I'm focused on paying attention to her, the way she's looking at me, her body language, her emotions, and I'm in the moment absorbing the sensory experience. But it is good to analyze yourself. It is good to take in techniques, but you take in the techniques, and if you read it, and you reread it, you'll start doing it without having to think about it. It'll just come up naturally and you'll see how it works. And techniques, if you force them, they don't even work as well. If you force a technique, if you say some line that you read and you're reading it like a script, it's gonna come across as pretty mechanical. But if it just comes up unconsciously, then it's gonna come across as a lot more smooth. So the best way to go about it is to take in content and trust your unconscious mind that if you read and expose yourself to good ideas or you watch good infield, you'll pick up some of those things unconsciously and you'll start doing them yourself. But then on another level, when you go back home, this is why writing field reports is so helpful. The best time to criticize yourself and to think logically is not while you're interacting with women, because that can kill the vibe. That's too serious, too logical. You want to be in an emotional state. But when you're back at home, that's when you can think, okay, what mistakes was I making? What can I do better? And you might find, I'm not holding strong eye contact. Then you write that down, and then your unconscious downloads that. It becomes more aware of that. And then without doing it on purpose, the next time you go out, you'll likely find that your eye contact is much better because you made a point to write it down. That is super powerful. Writing down the things you want to change Your trust that your unconscious is more capable than we give it credit for. And then the next time you go out, you'll find that these things just happen. The things that you wanted to happen, that you wrote down, trust that your unconscious will start to do them, and it will over time. And I'll have a field report template linked below if you want to check that out.